Hey guys, it's Mathel here once again, and since it's been 5 years now since I made my initial six-pack gamer abs video and my only real workout video, and as well as that, coincidentally, 5 years since I started streaming as of this month, I figured I'd give you a 5-year update as to what the body looks like, what I do these days on a weekly basis, and how things have been going overall in life with working out and maintaining a job, as we all like to poke fun of at the same time. So to get started, as always, I gotta do some flexing and show off what the rig currently looks like and what we're working with. Now it's a bit awkward with the setup here, but I think it's a lot better than using my phone, so excuse me as I try and figure it out. But yeah, as you may remember, a lot of it has to do with lots and lots of lighting. Currently, that's what we're working with. Still going for plenty of oblique action. Still trying to make sure abs are somewhat defined. And basically just arms being self-maintained through climbing. Don't really have any chest to speak of because I don't do any chest workouts. And if we're talking back, not too much going on there because I don't actually work it out and I don't do anything besides maintain it with climbing. Don't know if that even worked out, but yeah, there's there's nothing specific being trained there. It's just regular climbing stuff. And yeah, it's still very heavily reliant on lighting as you change positions, angles, get the right zoom and all of that. Flexing, non-flexing, abs and physiques in the fitness and YouTube sort of world very much rely on smoke and mirrors or just, perfect circumstances, perfect timings, perfect lightings. So don't be fooled, not everyone always looks the way you think they might look. And even if we just pull up our chair, sit back down, and relax, doesn't really, I don't think, look anywhere near as impressive when you're not trying specifically with the right angles and with the right amount of flexing. That's just us, natural state, playing some games. And then you can give it your best shot at, try-harding it while in your chair, which is never terribly flattering, but once again, got to use the entire system to your advantage. Give it a bit of a lean back, do the right appropriate flex, and it can kind of still look respectable, even in a chair, just depending on like I said, angles and all of that. As for what I do these days, it's pretty straightforward. I don't think too much has changed over the past 5 years. I've just kind of shifted more of a focus onto climbing, rock climbing, bouldering, and running than I have on general working out. Many years ago, when I first made my original video, I was really kind of into handstands and I wanted to care a lot about just perfecting a handstand, doing fun shit with my body like planches, just sort of more of the calisthenics style of training. Whereas these days, over the past 5 years, I've gradually shifted away from that because my neck started to hurt from various handstand exercises, probably doing them wrong, and I just didn't really need that sort of exercise anymore as I wanted to get better and better at climbing. And once I started working full-time, 6 to 8 hours every day, streaming from usually around 5 a.m. till around midday, I just didn't have the effort to go for climbs, go for runs, and then also do some working out as well. So in my typical week, I would still fit in about a 3 times worth of 2 to 3 hours of climbing sessions. So on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, we'd climb for 2 to 3 hours, and I'd just go pretty hard, try and do some real tough problems, but at the same time, just have a lot of fun with it, and maybe do a little bit of working out at the end of it. But primarily, most of my strength and muscle mass these days is coming from the climbing, as it is such a just full body workout that gives me everything I need, except for, as I mentioned, maybe some chest. If I really wanted some more of that, I'd do a bit more push-ups and all that. But for the most part, I just get lots of forearm, bicep, tricep, shoulders, back, abs, All of that just from doing lots of tough boulders at the level that I'm at, which is around V7, V8, which is what some of these clips are going to be showcasing. And that's pretty high up there. That's, you know, if I'm going to the climbing gym, I'm doing most of the harder problems there and just can't do a few of them, but usually working on the real hard stuff. That said, sometimes I won't be able to get to the climbing gym the entire 3 times for the week, or I might have a lazy day where I feel like I want to supplement a bit of extra climbing action with some working out, or if I missed a run, I want to do a bit more working out, something like that. That's when I'll jump into a bit of a home workout session, which really isn't much. It's just a slight maintenance of abs and maybe a bit on the little bar thing that I bought for my setup for my home that just lets you hang off of it, do some pull-ups, some chin-ups, and also got some little climbing related holds that I can hang off of and train some finger strength at the same time too. And to talk a bit more towards that, if I'm going to do something like this, it won't be much. It'll be maybe a 30-minute session where you do something like this, which is Frenchies. You just pull up into maximum lock-off position, hold for a few seconds, pull down to about 90-degree position, lock off and hold for a few seconds, and then go down to a 45-degree position, hold for a few seconds, and then drop all the way down and start again. Likewise, could turn around and use some of the small climbing holds, the little crimps, and just hang off of them for 5-10 seconds at a time, then maybe take 5 or 10 seconds off, or just do some pull-ups, some chin-ups, whatever really works for you, whatever you really think you could benefit from when you're, focusing on anything. It doesn't have to be climbing. For me, at the moment, it's mostly climbing, so a bit of finger strength and a bit of additional pulling up and lock-off strength is what I want when I want to do a side exercise. But as well as that, it's just super easy to maintain sort of ab workouts when you don't have anything else to do or when you don't want to leave the house. It's just a nice little 5, 10, 15 minutes of several different ab exercises. The ones I mostly do are the ones you see here, kind of side rotational oblique exercises, just kind of in a semi-sitting up position, rotating from one side to the next, and do 100 of those or so, maybe take a 5-minute break and do another 100. It really is quite easy to maintain abs once you're doing a bunch of other exercises as well. So there's no hugely specific training I do for this anymore, or long workout sessions. It's just a bit of maintenance on top of all the other exercise too. And then sometimes I'll also bust out the push-up bar thingos and just try and get a bit of extra chest or back, depending on how you structure your push-ups and how you how close you hold it, how far back you do the push-ups, how far down you dip. Really depends on what you're trying to work out with the range of motion you do throughout these exercises. But I don't do this very often at all anymore, since I don't really think I need it. And then lastly, I still have been doing lots and lots of running. I've still been trying to maintain about 5 or 6 days of running every week, and that depends on what that is. It could be longer runs, 5, 6 sort of kilometers, and just maintaining a sort of pace, or training specifically on the track for this type of a race out here, which I've still been doing a few times a year. And these are called handicapped races, where you start at a different point based on your ability. So for example, in this race, I would have started at 20 meters for this 400 meters. So I'm running 380, whereas the guy in white here would have been starting off of 10 meters because he's a little bit better than me. And in the end, it depends on who's better on the day to who's going to win. In this 800 meters, I started right near the back since I was one of the better people in the field. And then as I go, I collect up people that start up in front of me, and ideally still end up winning if I bring the best sort of performance on the day. But in a perfect scenario, everyone should be crossing the line at the same time. It just depends on who's really performing that day. So I have still been doing plenty of these sorts of races, but I'm tapering off a bit more at this point because I really want to focus more on climbing, less on running, and I've had more injuries in running in the past few years than I'd really want, and it just kind of seems to happen as you get older and older. So I'm focusing less on that and more on other things in my life at this point. So it has certainly been quite a bit harder to adjust into a full working lifestyle than when I made the last video, because when I made the last video 5 years ago, I was essentially a gaming bum. that just gamed whenever I wanted and worked out whenever I wanted, which was a lot and a lot. These days, I do have a very structured lifestyle. Basically, every day is roughly the same, where I'll wake up very early, around 5 a.m., 4 a.m., start stream, stream for 6 or so hours, depending on the point of Path of Exile League. I'll then have a bit of a second sleep after that for a few hours. I'll then do some running, some climbing, some working out, some dinner, and chill until I sleep again. And that's pretty much every day. Most days only really vary by the amount of running or climbing I'm doing. Some days I'll have to do a 3-hour climbing sesh and a good, long run. And overall, it is still quite a lot of exercise if you really look at it from further back. And it's just something I love doing. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I just hope my body holds out for as long as it possibly can. Because, like I said, with running, it definitely starts to impact you by a slightly later age. It takes you longer to recover from things. It does occasionally also mean that you're going to have like a bit of a pain here or there that you can't really sort out. You just need to ease off or take some time off or just train a bit lighter. And it just gets a bit harder to maintain than it used to, which I could just run non-stop for days at a time and do lots and lots of training. Whereas climbing, it's still holding up pretty well. I'm still fairly fresh to the scene. I've only been climbing 6 or 7 years, and I still absolutely love it. And I do recommend everyone tries out bouldering. Maybe it'll be the passion in you that you discover for your own working out as well. Aside from that, yeah, very happy with my life at the moment. Love what I do and love the exercise that I get to do on a daily basis and the people that I hang out with. So this is a 5-year anniversary video for my working out video and my stream, and officially going to be leaving for ExileCon very soon, and hopefully there's a big Path of Exile announcement, and it'll also be the first time I ever really meet any of my fans or any of the fellow streamers in the streaming world. For the past 5 years, I haven't really left the house or Adelaide. I just go to Brisbane every now and again for a climbing comp, but I've been very much grounded in what I do, and I'm looking forward to doing this, and hopefully ExileCon is huge and gives us some big news, and I think it will. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you at ExileCon and then also next time.